Welcome to Feel Good Friday. Today we are going to be down on the ground, as I warned in the previous post. What I would invite you to do, if you do not have mobility, getting up off the ground is going to be a challenge for you. Use a bar height stool and sit in front of the machine, and still please join us and use this as something to work towards. If you do not have the range of motion to get down on the ground, work on those squats, work on those pelvic tilts, anything you can do to increase the range of motion in that pelvic area. The squats are not only going to burn calories, but they're really going to help build up that leg strength to help you. It's never the getting down on the ground, it's the getting back up that presents a challenge. Today I'm working on a Life Pro Rumblex. I'm going to be working in oscillating mode because that's what many of us have to work with. So the only accessories you will require today possibly are a mat. We're going to be on the machine, so depending on the surface of your machine. And if I haven't shown you this already, this is a swimming pool noodle, cleverly designed and cut with a serrated steak knife. The width of your machine, we're going to use this for targeting some specific areas. So we're going to start with a calf massage. And there can be a little bit of a flow. Massage can be used in complement to maybe an exercise program you're doing on your machine or elsewhere. It can serve as a warm-up. It can manage pain. You can use it to target swelling. And depending on the machine that you're working with, if you are working with a low-frequency machine, I want you in the mid to higher speed ranges. You'll find when you're putting body parts on versus standing and doing a weight-bearing position, your tolerance will be very different. So, and if you need padding on your machine, if you have some painful lymphomas, you may want to place your mat for one or any of the exercises today. I would like you to get your machine going on the mid speeds. So if you've got 50 speeds or levels, you're going to be in the 20 to 30 range. If you've got 100 speeds, I want you in the 40 to 60 range. If you're using a high frequency platform, you can do the same frequency. You're going to be at about the 12 to 14 hertz range. If you are wanting to use higher frequencies for your massage on higher frequency platforms, I would recommend reducing time. So standard equipment, what most of us are using here on this page, probably 2 minutes per body part would be sufficient. I'm going to set my machine, this one has 60 speeds, so I'm going to set mine at about 35. And just like when you're standing on the machine, the wider the V in your legs, the more you're going to shake. If you want less, bring your feet closer. You'll notice my heels are just off the platform. You don't want your heels bouncing all over. So just past. And depending on your range of motion, your back, you may want to sit up on a block or something, an aerobic step to get you level with the machine. For something like a calf massage, if you really want to get lazy, you could lay right down on the ground. Lift your bum up off the ground. You can move your ankles. As I always encourage, experiment responsibly. If it feels good, do more of it. If it doesn't feel good, try something else. So calves are just relaxed. If you have tension in your calves, you deal with sciatic issues, you can do a little stretch, pull those toes towards you for 3 to 5 seconds and release. You can also point. Maybe you're doing some knee rehabilitation or you want to stretch those the shins. So you can do these little rotations if you like. You can stretch for the toes, make it a little deeper. You'll feel that in the hamstrings as well. The next position we're going to move on to is a variation of that. I have bad knees, so I'm taking my crusty pool noodle. There's certain body parts, the arches of the foot, the back of the knees, that don't lay directly on the machine. So in this same position, I'm just moving up a little bit, and I'm wedging this pool noodle under the back of my knees. You can continue, maybe do some raises. Okay, you could do this again, more laid down. You could do some rolling. Okay. Some of this will require upper body strength, yes, I know, but I'm trying to inspire you and give you things to work towards. So, but for me, if I've overdone it, if I've got some swelling in the knee, you guys may have those pockets in the back. This is a comfortable way to just target that directly. You could also, play with your hips a little bit. If you want to turn this way, get the outer knees. You can sort of play around a little bit. And if you were sitting up on a wedge or a block, it's going to make the maneuvering a little bit easier for you. So we'll set that aside. The next one we're going to move on to is the hamstrings. Now, depending on the length of your waist to your knees. If you're shorter, let's say under 5'7", 5'6", you'll probably be able to get the underside of your hamstrings and your glutes on. I'm going to do this in 2 positions because I'm taller. So I'm moving up, and the hamstrings are on the machine. My glutes are hanging off the machine, as is my spine. If you want a little bit of movement incorporated into the upper body, we know how to sit on our hands. You can also lean forward and just put the elbows on. It's not as intense, but it's a variation since you're already down here. Again, probably 2 minutes on your low frequency platform. High frequency platforms, I want you cutting that back to 30 seconds to a minute. If you do have spinal concerns, a lot of back pain, the spine is off the platform, so there is like no impact on the spine whatsoever. Moving forward and getting the glutes on, there is a little bit more movement, so you'll feel the hips, a little bit more movement, a little bit more through the torso and the shoulders. Again, you could lean forward, do some stretching, maybe just lean, or if you don't like the head vibration, just lean your head right out of the equation. And you on this one again, you can lean a little bit. Let's get the glutes in there, okay? About 2 minutes of pose. Now the next one's going to require some upper body strength. You'll notice I have the buttons for my machine. I'm kind of facing the opposite way that you would think. Sometimes when you're sitting on it and your butt's getting into it, you hit buttons. So I always, when I'm doing my massage, I face the console so that the buttons are between my legs. So we're going to move you up just a little bit more here. And we're going to lay down. Again, if you have a block to hold yourself up, I'm just going to use my forearms. And you can get literally the top of the love handles on, the glutes, and then just lift. You get that low back. You can roll out to the outer hip. Again, I encourage you to wiggle around. You know where your trouble spots are. And again, if you've got painful spots, you need a little padding, use your mat. Okay? So the very next one in my flow, we're going to turn around. We're going to do the tops of the thighs. So the tops of the thighs, you want your kneecaps off. It's kind of like we're doing a mini plank on the floor. If you had a block, you could rest your upper body on it. You'll have to be able to hold yourself up a little bit. You want to lay the thighs on the top of the machine and then just lift the legs. Okay? Keep them, I like them lifted. And the kneecaps are just off. Again, if you want more shake, widen up your legs. If you want less shake, bring them closer together. Okay? If you want a little bit more intensity, stretch the back. Just play with whatever feels good. Okay? You got 2 minutes. A lot of people ask at this point, what about my tummy? Can I do my tummy? You know, there's been no scientific study, but there usually isn't. Many of my ladies do massage their tummy. We've got bad C-section incisions. We've got loose skin. We've got IBS. We've got indigestion galore as a symptom. So if you did want to experiment, wiggle down a little further, up to about the belly button. If your hip bones stick out a lot or you need a little bit of comfort, don't forget, put it on a mat. Okay? And again, you know, about 1 to 2 minutes max for this position. Okay? Now the other area I want to show you how to target today is the outer and the inner thigh. So to get the outer thigh, we are going to, and you could do this from your low back position. I guess I didn't do the best order. I want your hip, oh. Hang on, I hit the button. See what I mean? I want your hip, put your hip in the center of the machine. Your hip is what drives the movement. If you're all the way on the outer edge, you're going to be shaking all over the place. So put your hip in the middle to start. You're going to lay down on your forearm or an aerobic step, whatever you're doing. We're going to lay the outer thigh and the knee on there, and we're going to bring the other one on top to join it. So this is how we do the outer thigh. If you want a little bit more intensity into that hip, you could roll in a bit. Really depends on your tolerance, okay? You can also roll back a little bit. Kind of, you know, just position yourself around until you know where it feels good. A lot of my runners have tension in these areas. The IT band, if you will call it that. Okay? And then to do the other side, of course, we're going to have to flip over. You can even have as far up as that lower love handle on the machine. Okay? The very last position, the inner thigh, is probably one of the more challenging massage moves. So if you do not have the range of motion to get up off the floor at this point, please save your arm strength. A lot of this, you don't need to do an upper body workout. You're doing it just maneuvering your body around, so there's a bonus. I tricked you. So what we're going to do with the inner thigh, move this a little closer. You're going to lay down beside the machine like you're laying down on the couch. And you're going to turn at the torso, and you're going to hook. And I hit the button again, didn't I? Oh, no, I didn't. You're going to hook that inner thigh. You want to make sure you get that meaty part on there. And then just keep turning. And you're just going to rest on your hands. So you're going to get that inner thigh. And do that again about 1 to 2 minutes per body part. To do the other side, of course, you turn around so you can see what it looks like. We're going to get right up close, drape that up over there, and keep turning. Okay. Again, you will require some upper body strength to maneuver through these positions. So when would I do massage? How often? How long? A couple of things you're going to experience, probably whether you're standing on the machine, but definitely when you're massaging on the machine. Some pins and needles, some itchiness. That's very common when you're first starting out, or when you're trying new speeds or different positions perhaps. So that pins and needles, that itchiness, and the severity is different for everyone. It is related to moving lymph circulation, detoxification. In extreme cases, it could be neurological systems firing and regaining communication pathways. So, I've seen all kinds of things improve, but that itchiness, that pins and needles, it will dissipate if you can stick with it and push through. Probably by the 1 to 2 week mark with regular use, that you won't even notice the itchiness anymore. And with this, you could use massage as a session in itself. I would recommend warming up with a pelvic tilt, something to just, get the body going head to toe and loosen things up before you start maneuvering around. If you are active and likely if you're able to get down on the ground, you're doing some form of activity now. You could use this as a warm-up, to other things, the gym, your walk. You could also use it as a recovery. A lot of my gym goers love to use it just to expedite recovery. You don't have to hurt. The old days of, doing squats and push-ups and hurting the next day, you don't need to. Don't suffer. I don't do all of the massage positions all of the time. Everybody's got their few areas that they're wanting to target. But primarily, the massage started as an aesthetics treatment to treat cellulite, as a post-treatment to, some of the non-invasive lipo treatments. I certainly used it in my shop back in the day with my LED lipo machine. And I have about 2 or 3 regular massages that I do, but I don't do a whole massage session outside of maybe once in a while as its own session. My regulars, I like sitting on it. I like doing the back of my hamstrings. I get tension, and that's where I tend to have the lumps and the bumps. And I do have some awesome varicose veins on the shins, so it's not uncommon to see me kneeling on the machine and doing my shins. So, and I can show you what that looks like, because I probably didn't. This one you definitely would want to mat up, and I'm just sitting on my shins. If that's too hard on the knees, you can come up into that cat-cow, as we did in last week's session. So, again, you are only limited by your imagination and the latter, your range of motion, which will improve with continued use. So, stick to those squats. Not only are they going to make you stronger to get you up off the floor, but they're going to help with that range of motion. And, this is something to work towards. And if you have any questions, if there's any specific, concerns that you may have, please message me. Or if you are looking for a consultation, you want to do a one-on-one and just get a little bit more personal guidance, I am available to this group as a resource for one-on-one bookings as well. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope it gives you some new ideas to play with for the weekend. Thank you.